Matithyahu, chapter 1. The book of the genealogy of Yahoshua HaMashiach, ben of Dawid, ben of Avraham. Avraham brought forth Yitzchak, and Yitzchak brought forth Yaakov, and Yaakov brought forth Yehudah and his brothers. And Yehudah brought forth Peretz and Zerach by Tamar, and Peretz brought forth Ketzron, and Ketzron brought forth Ram. And Ram brought forth Aminadav, and Aminadav brought forth Nachshon, and Nachshon brought forth Salmon. And Salmon brought forth Boaz by Rachab, and Boaz brought forth Oved by Ruth, and Oved brought forth Yishai. And Yishai brought forth Dawid the sovereign, and Dawid the sovereign brought forth Shelomo by Uriah's wife. And Shelomo brought forth Rechavam, and Rechavam brought forth Aviah, and Aviah brought forth Asa. And Asa brought forth Jehoshaphat, and Jehoshaphat brought forth Joram, and Joram brought forth Uzziah. And Uzziah brought forth Jotham, and Jotham brought forth Achaz, and Achaz brought forth Chizkiyahu, and Chizkiyahu brought forth Menashe, and Menashe brought forth Ammon, and Ammon brought forth Yoshiyahu. And Yoshiyahu brought forth Jeconiah and his brothers at the time of the exile to Babel. And after the exile to Babel, Jeconiah brought forth Shealtiel, and Shealtiel brought forth Zerubbabel, and Zerubbabel brought forth Avihud, and Avihud brought forth Eliakim, and Eliakim brought forth Azor, and Azor brought forth Tzadok, and Tzadok brought forth Akim, and Akim brought forth Elihud, and Elihud brought forth Eleazar, and Eleazar brought forth Matan, and Matan brought forth Yaakov, and Yaakov brought forth Yosef, the husband of Miriam, of whom was born Yahoshua, who is called Mashiach. So all the generations from Avraham to Dawid were 14 generations, and from Dawid until the exile to Babel were 14 generations, and from the exile to Babel until Mashiach were 14 generations, and the birth of Yahushua HaMashiach was as follows. After his mother Miriam was engaged to Yosef, before they came together, she was found to be pregnant from the Ruach HaKodesh. And Yosef, her husband, being righteous and not wanting to make a show of her, had in mind to put her away secretly. But while he thought about this, see, a messenger of Yahweh appeared to him in a dream, saying, Yosef, son of Dawid, do not be afraid to take Miriam as your wife, for that which is in her was brought forth from the Ruach HaKodesh, and she shall give birth to a ben, and you shall call his name Yahushua, for he shall save his people from their sins. And all this came to be in order to fill what was spoken by Yahweh through the Navi, saying, See, a maiden shall conceive, and she shall give birth to a ben, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which translated means Isle with us. And Yosef, awaking from his sleep, did as the messenger of Yahuwah commanded him, and took his wife, but knew her not until she gave birth to her ben, the firstborn. And he called his name Yahoshua. Matithyahu, chapter 2. And Yahoshua, having been born in Beth Lechem of Yehudah, in the days of Herodes the sovereign, see, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he who has been born sovereign of the Yahudim? For we saw his star in the east, and have come to do reverence to him. And Herodes the sovereign, having heard, was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And having gathered all the chief Kohanim and scribes of the people together, he asked them where HaMashiach was to be born. And they said to him, In Beth Lechem of Yehudah, for thus it has been written by the Navi. But you, Beth Lechem, in the land of Yehudah, you are by no means least among the rulers of Yehudah, for out of you shall come a ruler who shall shepherd my people Yisrael. Then Herodes, having called the Magi secretly, learned exactly from them what time the star appeared. And having sent them to Beth Lechem, he said, Go and search diligently for the child, and when you have found him, bring back word to me, so that I too might go and do reverence to him. And having heard the sovereign, they went. And see, the star which they had seen in the east went before them, until it came and stood over where the child was, And seeing the star, they rejoiced with exceedingly great joy. And coming into the house, they saw the child with Miriam his mother, and fell down and did reverence to him, and opening their treasures, they presented to him gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream that they should not return to Herodes, they departed for their own country by another way. And when they had left, see, a messenger of Yahweh appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, take the child and his mother, and flee to Mitzrayim, and remain there until I bring you word, for Herodes is about to seek the child to destroy him. And rising up, he took the child and his mother by night and departed for Mitzrayim, and remained there until the death of Herodes, to fill what was spoken by Yahuwah through the Navi, saying, Out of Mitzrayim I have called my Ben. Then Herodes, having seen that he was fooled by the Magi, was greatly enraged, and he sent forth and slew all the male children in Beth-Lakem and in all its borders, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had exactly learnt from the Magi. Then was filled what was spoken by Yirmeyahu the Navi, saying, A voice was heard in Ramah, wailing and weeping, and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, refusing to be comforted because they were no more. And Herodes having died, see, a messenger of Yahweh appeared in a dream to Joseph in Mitzrayim, saying, Arise, take the child and his mother, and go into the land of Yisrael, for those seeking the life of the child are dead. And rising up, he took the child and his mother, and came into the land of Yisrael. But hearing that Archelaus was reigning over Yahudah instead of his father Herodes, he was afraid to go there. And having been warned in a dream, he departed to the parts of Galilee, and came and dwelt in a city called Nazareth. Thus to fill what was spoken by the Nevi'im, he shall be called a Nazarene.